As the integration of the ASEAN economic community ramps up, we are just months away from the opening of the ASEAN Open Sky policy and a common aviation market. And worries are plenty amid fears over competitiveness of the domestic industry. The Indonesian National Air Carrier Association, INACA, has asked for a commitment from the government to create a positive atmosphere supporting airlines.
The potential customer base and growth of the Indonesian aviation market are all phenomenal. A no-brainer target for any aviation company, explosively popular and well documented. The airline industry is facing stiff competition with the approaching enforcement of the ASEAN Open Sky policy next year. In addition to the market's existing woes, fears over what a sudden influx of foreign competitors could do to the burgeoning domestic air travel industry are very real, especially given Indonesia's unique vulnerability, its notorious and volatile currency, the rupiah. The Indonesian airline sector has been suffering from the weak rupiah as dollar-dominated fuel costs and spare part costs could not be offset by rupiah-denominated revenues. The high operational costs suffered by airlines amid still competition is making it difficult for domestic carriers to survive. These problems are critical and potentially responsible for the continuing operation of domestic airlines, up to the point that they could interfere with the Indonesian airline industry's future. Arif Wibowo, chairperson of INACA, has called on the government to provide security and assurances for industry players, highlighting the challenges of the airline industry going forward. As the 2015 ASEAN Open Sky policy nears, the country's national aviation industry is still growing too slowly. There are other concerns and pressures present across the airline industry as prices of crude have soared, so have airline costs. There has been one recent reprieve for Indonesia's carriers. After extensive lobbying, including a public appeal and statements from the President-Director of Indonesia's flagship carrier Garuda Indonesia, the government announced it would raise its tariff ceiling for airlines. Garuda Chief Emir Syahsatar had called for market forces to be allowed to determine tariff prices, especially for economically commercial routes where competition was high.
Proses birokrasi yang kita rasakan itu tidak memberikan added value karena kan pemerintah pun sebenarnya membebaskan 0%, bukan bebaskan 0%. Nah, yang kita inginkan memang kebijakannya segera diberikan oleh pemerintah sehingga tidak perlu menggunakan mekanisme PNBP, tapi berikan aja kebijakan bahwa itu 0%. Toh ujung-ujungnya juga 0%. Karena 0% itu kan kalau diurus mulai dari Januari sampai Desember, itu kadang-kadang sampai bulan Desember juga baru keluar. Padahal barang ini kan sangat movable.
Players in the airline business are urging the government to be more serious about pushing ahead with improvements to the sector. But it needs to happen within months if Indonesia is to be competitive enough to defend itself while at the same time penetrate the ASEAN market next year. That course of action could spur industry growth in the independent airline sector and knock-on benefits for both the regional and national economies. Assuming, that is, that all goes well.